Hi friends, I am Lisa with Made to Create with Lisa, and I am here today to make a ribbon pumpkin craft with you. It's going to be fun. We've been using our ribbons a lot lately to make all kinds of different things, and today is no different. We're going to be using our ribbons to do pumpkin things. So I am going to hold up this stack of ribbons that we are going to be using today. And they all kind of just go together. There's sort of the natural tones as well as, I know that this is pink, but this one is a little bit more coral. And if you've been following along with the other projects we've been making, we've been kind of centering on that jade, seafoam, coral, those kind of vibes with a lot of the things we've been making. So that's what we're going to continue today. So I think we'll go ahead and start in, okay? Let me bring you over and I'll point you down. And I will get you in my holder here. There we go. All right, so today's Monday. Are you ready for the new week? So what we're going to be using today is a couple foam pumpkins, and these ones are actually from the Dollar Tree, but the ones that we're going to be using are from Walmart, and I didn't have any extras, so I just grabbed this because I had this. But they're just the cheesy foam. These ones are made of styrofoam, and then they have the plastic stem, and you can just pull the stem right out like that, and it just makes a hole, okay? So what I did is I took the stem out. Obviously, I took this off too. And then I used just an old serrated knife. Hey, Heidi. I used an old serrated knife, and I actually cut a kind of a divot, like a, just a half an inch or so divot out of the middle here. I also did the same thing here. Okay, just cut myself a divot in there. And then we use the pumpkin to decorate. So, let's see. I'm not actually using this one, but okay. So like I showed you, we're pulling in these ribbons here. So I have the diamond weave. It's kind of like a nice cotton ribbon. And then what color is this technically? This is Flirty Flamingo. I didn't even know that, but it has the gold flecks in it. And so then I tied in the shiny gold and then the vanilla lace, as well as this one is Blushing Bride. Okay, so I just kind of felt like they all leaned toward coral-ish, and so that's what we're going to use. All right. So, are you ready to see what we're making? This is what it has turned into. So what I did is this pumpkin was really gross orange color, really fake looking. So I painted it with chalk paint so that the base was white. So actually then it looked more like this one here. Okay, and then all we did is I cut myself a ton of strips of ribbon of all the different designs. And what I did is I put a blob of hot glue in the middle, and you just put it like that and just tack it in. Don't burn yourself. And then pull it tight down on the other side. Now see how messy the bottom is, but that part doesn't matter. But I did dig a divot out there just so that maybe if they did start piling up, then it wouldn't make a huge bump on the bottom and that the pumpkin would sit flat. So just hold it there for a second while it sticks. And then let's see, what should we use for our last one here? I think I'll do this one. So I did a ton of it in advance because I came up with this idea, and then lo and behold, it ended up taking forever. So I thought, you know what, if I try to do this whole thing while I'm live, we will be here like an hour and a half. So I didn't want to do that. So I did most of it in advance, and then you get to see the finished project and you get to see what we'll do with it. All right, let me pull this over. So the reason that I painted the base is, as you can see some parts in there that are exposed, and that's fine. You know, that's fine that some of it's exposed, but I didn't want it to be bright orange if it was exposed. So that is why we went ahead and painted the pumpkin base. All right. So see, now we have our pumpkin all finished. What do you think? Isn't that a different way to use ribbon? Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I have a bag of wooden, well, obviously I'm going to use it as a pumpkin stem, but they're just from the Dollar Tree. You just see them every once in a while, and I grab them when I see them, and then I keep them in my stash, and we're going to hot glue this in there. I kind of feel like I like the contrast of the dark on that. What do you think? Let me see if I need it to be a little bit fatter. No, that one's too fat. All right, I think that we will do that one. Okay, so all we're gonna do is just put a gigantic blob of hot glue in there. And we are going to work our stem down in there, and then the hot glue will hold it. And there it is. Okay, now in advance, I also made this one. And this one used kind of the sea foam and the jade and other golds in here. Now you can see that this pumpkin, the base of it was yellow. And so if you see a separation, then you can see the pumpkin through it. Thanks, ladies. I'm glad you like them. So see, I already got the stem on this one. It's all dry, and these are good to go. So let's make our actual home decor piece with it. So I have tons of pieces of wood. I collect all kinds of wood pieces so that I have substrates that I can use anytime I want them. So I grabbed this one and I stained it with some wood stain to make it a little bit darker. And then I am going to pull out some Spanish moss in a couple different colors. And let's see what we like the look of. So I'm actually going to be making like kind of a scene here with our pumpkins. I'm not just going to have them be flat. Now, I don't know if you've ever used Spanish moss before, but it is a complete disaster. I don't know why I think that doing this on video is a good idea. All right, let's see how that looks. Nope, that's not enough. I feel like I can see through it too much. So I'm going to pull out more. Woo, we're shaking everywhere. Okay, I like that better. Okay, so we're gonna have that. And then let's see if we like the look of adding a little bit of green. Let's see. Now, I don't know what this is gonna be like for you seeing a top-down version, but this is what it's gonna look like. And I feel like I like the sprinkle of green. It's such a bright green that you definitely don't want too much, but I like the splash of green in there. So we are going to leave that. Okay, so I'm going to create a couple little pockets here where we can glue our pumpkins. And then we're going to glue that down and glue this down, okay? But you know what? I feel like because you're seeing sort of a weird top-down view, I am going to pull that base out and finish that in a minute. I feel like we need to finish the actual pumpkins first, otherwise you won't be able to see the correct view. So I am going to grab a ton of different leaves. So I pre-cut some leaves using our brushed metallic cardstock and our cork cardstock. And those are new this year in the holiday catalog. And I use, so this one is more of like a coppery color. This one is more of a bright gold. And I don't know how well you can see that on camera. But, and then this is just jade. But I also just cut a lot of them, okay, so that we can kind of have a selection and decide what we want. Now, here's something kind of fun. I also got some burlap because I use burlap in my home decor all the time in the fall. And I used our stitched leaf dies and cut out burlap leaves. Our dies do cut through some thin fabric like that. Isn't that cool? And so that is going to add a really cool element to our pumpkin. So if let's see. Oh, see how cool that looks layered together? Yes, I love that. So I'm going to kind of slide that aside and we will start hot gluing this together. Now, the thing with the burlap is because it's like, you know burlap, it's kind of holy, like it has a ton of holes in it. So it was kind of a little bit hard to cut without it falling apart. It's a little bit interesting to work with, but I was determined. I was determined to see if it would work. Okay, so that worked there. Whoops. It's gonna hold together better when I glue it on here, but I'm trying to do this in the sky. What else should we use? Maybe this cork one here. That blends in so much. How about one of these green ones? Yeah, I think that's better. Oh, hey, my glue is still wet. I can put it right on there and it's gonna stay. Perfect. Okay, so what do you think of that? I think that's good. And so we will layer that on there like that. Now, before I do that, I'm going to grab a little bit of Spanish moss. And some people, when they decorate their pumpkins, they put piles and piles of Spanish moss. I don't personally like that. So I'm just going to put a little bit. You just kind of want a few wispies like this, okay? So I'm just going to put a couple dots, just lightly, because you will be able to kind of see it if you put too much. So we'll just put a couple of dots and just kind of stick this on. Now I want it to look kind of like it's winging out. I don't want it all like pressed down, but there we go. There, what do you think of that? I think that looks totally cool. Oops, this one's like totally flying out here. Let's cut this one off. There, doesn't that look cool? Okay, so now we will put a blob over here and glue on our leaves. I will kind of curl that down a little bit so it's not just sticking straight out. There. Look at that. Now, after I get off, I will, I'll probably take my bone folder and curl this down a little bit because it is so long. But doesn't that look cool? I love the look of that. And so now we need to do it on this one. So we'll add just a little bit of Spanish moss on the top. Just like that. You just kind of spread it out with your fingers. So we'll just do a couple dots of the hot glue gun. So you got to tell me if you have an ugly hot glue gun like I do. Please tell me that I'm not the only one. Whoa, sorry, my whole pumpkin rolled away. I can't be the only one with an ugly hot glue gun. All right, I didn't get enough. And my pumpkin keeps rolling away. There. All right. We will have that, and then let's pick a couple leaves. This is such a big pumpkin, I think I can do a big leaf. So I'm going to do the darker bronze color with this one, just for something different. Maybe yes, I'm going to add the cork in there too. So let's glue these together. And we'll add the cork. And I think that I will put a little jade one right on the top here. Like that. Isn't that cute? Do you guys like these colors? Okay, so I'm going to sweep all those to the side. And we will add our leaves here. Where should we put them? I think on the front side here. So I have to kind of lift up my Spanish moss and put a blob of hot glue in there. And then we will nestle our leaves right there on the side. And again, I'll curl this down a little bit. There, what do you think? Doesn't that look so cool? Okay, I love it. Now that these are done, I can move all of my Spanish moss remnants and pull back in my my base. Okay, so what we're gonna do here is I need another hot glue stick here. All right. So what we're going to do here is we're just going to tack this down in a few places. So I'm just going to lift and put hot glue on there. And be sure not to burn yourself. My friend Heidi's always telling me not to burn myself. Okay, whoops, there goes my pumpkin again. Now you can see why they don't stay very steady if you just want to sit them on a shelf or something. The ribbon kind of balls up underneath and it makes it so they're not super steady. Okay, so now this is glued down. Now obviously not every piece is glued down, but then just kind of nestle out some places here where you can put your pumpkins, and we will nestle those in. So before you glue them, make sure you like the way that they're sitting. And it's going to be better for you once I turn this to the side. I know it's that you have kind of a weird view, but I am going to push this down and hold it. Thanks, Vicky. I'm glad that you like this idea. You have to tell me if you try it yourself. Okay, so because I have so much going on underneath it, it's kind of bouncing up. So you really have to nestle it down. Let's see, I'm trying to decide where I want that. Okay, so I got to hold this for a second. Weigh it down. I'm holding it really tightly. I'm pushing it down onto the wood so that it adheres as much as possible. Okay. These pumpkins at Walmart were in the fall section, and they're in these little boxes, these bins that are 99 cents each. So it's actually just like going to the Dollar Tree, and they're just, you know, a little bit different sizes and shapes, and I just happened to be at Walmart. Okay, look at that. Now, it'll be better for you when I pull up the camera, and then you'll be able to see a little bit different view. But it's coming together. Okay, So the last thing that I wanted to do, I'm going to slide this off to the side a little bit. I think it's, when you see it full on, you're going to see that it's absolutely adorable the way it is. But what I wanted to do to kind of finish off the scene is I got these adhesive wood shapes, and honestly, you can get these in so many different ways. I think that I got these at Target last year. This is currently what is at Hobby Lobby. They're wood cutouts. Okay, but I wanted this size today, so this is what I'm pulling out today. So I'm just going to open this up. I'm trying to decide which one we want to use. They're very similar in the look, but I think I'm going to use these ones here. Now, they come with adhesive on the back. I can't get my finger in there. Let's dump it out. Okay. They come with adhesive on the back, but, and I'll take that off, but, you know, it's not going to be enough to hold that in there. So I think actually that I'm going to get a couple different sizes here. You know what? I think I'll go ahead and use one of these from the Hobby Lobby bag too, because I like that shape. I have to figure out how to open it. Okay, I'm going to use this one too. A couple of these. Yeah, I think that that'll look nice. So we will add in a couple of those. And, excuse me, we are going to color them. So I don't know if you watched last week when we did this, but I am going to color these using sponge daubers and our stamp pads. So this is Sahara Sand. And the reason I chose this color is because I didn't want it to be too dark. And you know what? I'm wondering if this will show up at all. This is already dark. Woo! It has adhesive on the back. This isn't showing up on this one at all. So I'm actually going to pull in the soft suede. So sometimes you need to try different things to see what's going to work. This one is showing up much better. Can you see that it's getting darker? So do you remember when we did this last week on the wood words, when we made the acorn? I dyed the wood words with the Early Espresso stamp pad. So this is soft suede. It's just a little bit a lighter color of brown. And see, this is the original, and then this is when I made it a little bit darker. So it just adds a nice, you know, just a different shade to it. Okay, and then this one, why don't we try, I'm going to pull in the Just Jade, since that's the color of ribbon that we're using on one of those pumpkins. So I hope this looks good. Again, this is a little bit of an experiment. Let's see what it looks like. I did not want to use my typical fall colors like I would have normally used, you know, like Cajun Craze or Bumblebee or things like that. But I thought that that would look really, really bad with the ribbon colors that we're using. So I kind of am sticking with that family of colors. Look at that. I kind of feel like maybe we should leave this one natural. Hey, Brenda from Oklahoma. Thanks for coming today. Okay, so I think I'm going to use that one natural, or leave it natural. So we can close our stamp pads and move them off to the side. And pull back in our little tray here. And let's figure out where we, oh yes, look how cool that's going to look. Okay, so I'm going to take off this adhesive. And like I said, that adhesive isn't strong enough for what we're doing. So I just put some hot glue on there. And let's nestle this down in onto our wood base. What do you think? I love it. Okay, so that has like an adhesive button on it, but we will add our own hot glue. And that way, hopefully it won't fall apart. Stick that baby on there. And see, it's just sort of a subtle little tucked in. And I kind of feel like we want one over here too. So let me grab one more of the natural colored ones. And I'm going to use a different shape. So let's use this one. This one looks like a maple. Do you think that's a maple leaf? I think that looks like my Japanese maple. Oh, whoops. I forgot that this has adhesive. Hold on, let's take this off. Okay, we'll put that aside. Okay, let me put some glue on there. And we will tuck that. Yeah, that totally looks like my maple, my Japanese maple tree. And that's it. I just thought it would be cute with a couple leaves sprinkled onto the ground. And if you wanted to, you could, bring in more of these and even nestle in some paper ones down here. Why don't we do that? Why not? I will nestle in a gold little piece there just to add a little bit of bling. And I think that's it. Okay, so we have so much hanging off here. Okay, so I'm excited for you to see this full on. So let me pull you back up so I can show it to you, not from the top view. Hello. Do you like my fall shirt? Fall. It just looks like fa, like fa la 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 la, but it does say fall. Okay, are you ready? What do you think? Do you love it? Okay, so let me show you. There's the leaves tucked in there. And you can see the leaves up here on top of the pumpkins and our stems. Isn't that neat? And of course it's 3D, so it's all the way around. Yay! I hope you liked that one. Okay, I'm excited to put that somewhere. I have to figure out where. Okay, so did you see that I posted the picture of that my husband and I picked our gourds finally? So we got a bumper crop this year, and we have gourds everywhere. So this week is my job to clean the house and get those all decorated all over, and then I can show you some pictures. But I wanted to show you this, and then I also wanted to show you what I ended up doing with the acorn and pumpkin collage crafts that we made last week. Okay, so do you remember that we made this? Okay, so my sample was actually a pumpkin, and so look what I did with that. Instead of it just being free floating like this, I mounted it onto a circular base, and I used wood beads and the nautical rope from the Dollar Tree right there, and I put a hanger on the top and a little raffia bow. Oh, and I painted it with the matte black chalk paint in the background. Do you like it? So I haven't mounted this one yet, but that's as far as I've gotten. So that is what I did with our project from last week. I always need to remember to show you what what the finished project ended up looking like. So the last thing I wanted to tell you is on this side, I don't know if you can see, I'm offering a penguin class where you'll make 14 cards and you'll receive some of these really cute snowflakes and a whole spool of our really pretty white glitter ribbon with it. And registration is currently going on for that class. Whoops. And so I would love to have you sign up for that, and I can ship that class as well. because we're going to be doing a Zoom version of that too, as well as an in-person version. So would love to have you. So I hope you enjoyed our ribbon pumpkins today, and thanks for joining me. And I will see you again on Thursday for our lunchtime live, okay? So have a great day, and just remember that you were made to create. Thanks. Bye.